So hi, I'm Rahul. I am 27 years old and I am one of the co-founders of Binjai Brew. Binjai Brew is a local craft beer brand started by three of us out of university back in 2017. And that is what we do, we make craft beer. Well, it kind of started off as a hobby when we were homebrewing in NTU and we got some favorable reactions in the press. We decided that it might be good to try it out as a business idea because we were fresh out of uni at that point. And then we just kind of rolled with it and here we are today. So one of the beers that we came out with uses offcuts of bread and orange zest. And this was an idea floated to us by this cafe called Slice. So they are JTC and they like to experiment with new things. So they asked us to explore how we could use food waste in the making of a beer. So the most immediate thing was bread, because bread has starch, which is similar to what the grains that we use have. And then Belgian wheat beers, an essential component is orange zest. So we're like, oh, orange zest should be easy enough to get as a byproduct of juiced oranges. So we decided to go with that, and that's kind of how we ended up having a beer with food waste in it. I never knew that it could be used to make a beer. So doing it and realizing how straightforward it is made me think that, hey, maybe there are more ways in which we can do this that we're not looking at right now. And people can't really taste the difference. They'll just think it's a good beer that was made the normal way, which is really cool, because then once you tell them that, and then it just opens up their mind to like, oh, wow, actually food sustainability doesn't have to be that hard. So we hope you can join us at Youth Track to find out more about what we do and learn more about food sustainability as well. We are here today to do a small homebrew scale experiment to show you guys how beer is made.
So what's this?
So right now what I have is actually this thing called malted barley, and it's been crushed already for us. So prior to this, it comes in its whole form in bags, and before we add it to the water, we have to crush it so you can expose the starch. Yeah, it looks like that.
So I gotta pour it.
Yeah, I'm gonna pour it.
I might use like leftover bread for this portion as well, right?
Yep, so for one of our beers, it's called Set B. We use bread from bakeries that's unsold at the end of the day, and they're going to throw away anyway, and we add it in together with this. However, we can't add like a lot of the bread, because bread, although it contains the starch, it doesn't contain the enzymes to break down the starch. So
like, how many percent would that be?
So in our recipe, we use around 5%, and that works out to about 3 kilos. So usually what we do with the bread is we get the bread in its whole slice form, and what we do is we just kind of tear it up. You want to tear it? Yeah.
Just any size that will do?
Yeah, just like small bits, and then we tear it up and then we put it in together with the grains. Yeah, just stir that.
Okay, so just stir.
Yeah, so you gotta just stir to make sure everything is like well mixed and don't break my thermometer.
Okay.
So yeah, so once the grains are done soaking in the water, what we do is we just want the sugary liquid that's left behind, so we pull the grains out like that. Right, so what we did was that we extracted the sugary solution that the grains were in, and we threw away the grains, and we've kept the sugary liquid, and it's known as wort. So that's spelled W-O-R-T. So now what we do is that we boil the wort, and the reason we do this is to kill any bacteria in it, kill the enzymes from the grain that were responsible for the reaction just now, and also we want to add this thing called hops. So hops are what give beer its bitterness, and during the boiling process, the boiling extracts these bitter compounds from the hops. Yeah, so if you want to take a closer look at it, that's what it looks like. and if you smell it, you can smell it's like kind of fruity too. So yeah, if you want to add it in, you just like kind of throw it in, and the whole solution goes green. I don't know, you want to add some?
Are we? Just any amount, is it?
Yeah, today it's fine.
Alright. So that's
Yeah, you just throw it in, and then you see it starts to dissolve and boil.
So what's next after this?
So after the boiling is done, what we do is that we cool it down to the temperature in which yeast can survive, and then we add yeast to it and let it sit for about 2 weeks at 18 to 22 degrees depending on the yeast, and the yeast convert the sugar into alcohol along the way, and then you end up with beer. Now that it's cooled down and we have added our yeast into this, we just let it sit in a place away from light for 2 weeks, and the yeast will convert the sugars in this into alcohol.
Yeah. Then what's this tube on top of?
So this thing is actually what keeps the environment inside anaerobic. It allows gas to escape, but it allows gas to escape, but it doesn't allow gas in. See, there's pressure already because of the gas escaping from the heat.
Behind me is the bigger version of this.
Yep. So this piece here is exactly this piece, the airlock.
So like over here we have actually bubbling, so all that is all the carbon dioxide.
Yep. So you can see there's active fermentation inside that tank.
And there's also a weird smell.
It's not weird.
It's a very familiar smell.
It smells like passion fruit.
Yes.
Yeah, because that is our passion fruit IPA.
Okay. After 2 weeks, what will we see then?
It would look pretty much the same, except at the bottom of this you'd see a small layer of yeast forming as the yeast start to drop out.
So you will filter it later, is it?
We don't filter it because you don't want to disturb the beer once it's been fermented. If you introduce oxygen, it spoils the beer. So what you do is you just use a siphon and suck it like off the top.
So like for this case wise, how do you guys do that?
So you'd put in a siphon and then you just siphon the liquid on top. So you'd leave behind the bottom bit. You try not to disturb the yeast residue.
But what happens then? That's it?
Yeah, then it's ready to drink.
Okay.
Yeah. Hope you learned a bit about the process of making beer today.
Yeah, man, I learned quite a lot. Normally, I will see my friends all drinking it, but then now I know how to make it too.
Now you can tell them about it as well.
Yes.